So this video is going to be part 2 of the previous video, where I've jumped into a dogfight. So this is my build for dogfights for the X-Wing. I'm playing New Republic for this video just to demonstrate the same power and boost methods that were seen in the last video. You can fly the Y-Wing in dogfights. It's more of a missile boat, and it's fun if you have a squad, but I wouldn't recommend it. A-Wing, it's great for dogfights. It's not the meta that I expected interceptors to be. Typically, dogfights are won by the fighters, and the interceptors picking off targets and the support ships dishing out shields and health. So for this one, Xavier and Abyss, there's going to be a lot of cover available. So a lot of what I'm going to be doing is ducking in and out of cover to break lines of sight between my pursuers and to engage enemy fighters on my terms. What I don't want to do is engage more than one fighter at once if I don't have to, because you should not engage a fight that you think you're going to lose or that you're not certain you're going to win. If you're not familiar with your fighter to the level that you're satisfied with, fly it in practice mode, fly it in campaign, and make sure that you know your fighter and that you're comfortable knowing your enemy's fighter too. Because part of this whole thing is knowing what your fighter's capable of and what the enemy fighter is capable of. For example, the X-Wing versus a TIE Interceptor. I'm going to try to keep that fight mostly in a head-on engagement because the TIE Interceptor does not have a whole lot of health. And when it comes to sheer damage, my X-Wing can put out more damage in a head-on than that TIE Interceptor can, especially with overcharged weapons and rockets. And my X-Wing can take more damage too. That TIE Interceptor will die fairly quickly in a head-on. So I'll point out those as they happen to kind of demonstrate that. Target selection is another big important one. So you've got to be very careful with which target you pick and how you engage. If a target is shooting a friendly, try to engage it and clear your friendly 6. If a target is shooting you, you need to break off of whatever you're doing and engage that target, because they're not going to break off of you, and you're not going to get away unless you deal with that fighter chasing you. The best way to do that is to double tap your console controller. It's triangle or Y. On PC, it's whatever button you have it bound to. But make sure you double tap that and select the guy shooting you. So if you notice, I went power straight to shields, powered them up. My weapons are now charging. I'm going to go power to engines. I'm going to hold my target in front of me button and make sure that enemy squadron is selected. And I'm going to pick a target. I'm looking for a target that's heading straight towards me, like this guy here. Power to front shields. Wasn't quite fast enough to finish him off, but that's okay. I'm going to equalize my shields. Time to start to finish him off. Switching targets. Players. Oh, he got me on that one. So that was a pretty good shot with that TIE Interceptor. Looking at the scoreboard, I can see that player is now 2-0, which tells me I need to concentrate on that player. Otherwise, he's going to tear apart our team. Chances are he's in a squad with somebody else. If you'll notice, when I attacked that Interceptor, he immediately engaged me. So I'm going to attack this player, and I'm going to attack the Interceptor that I engaged at first. Because enemies working together is a bit of a problem for your team, especially if you're flying solo. Looks like our support ship has marked him. So if I had a guided missile, that would allow me to finish him off with a missile, because marked target cannot deploy chaff. This target is going to head on, so I'm going to finish him off with rockets. Boost away from that explosive. Shields front. Deploy chaff. And take the ram. Those 2 kills for 1. Not great, but worth it, especially when your team is ahead. You want to try to build that lead. So typically you want to try to avoid the ram.
Moving to your
If
position.
you're the one going head on and you know you're not going to survive it, which that player seems to be doing, hit your boost button. Boosting into a target does more damage, and even though you're going to die anyway, you can probably take them with you. So if you notice, I got engaged by this guy, so I'm going to cycle to him, kill him, and switch back to the target I was engaging. Power to engines. Looks like he's down. Find another target. Target the closest. He's going for it too. Fire my rockets. Finish him off. Next target. Shields front. Boost out a little bit. Drift it. Drift it. I don't want to get into a close fight. So I'm going to go shields front again. And I'm going to get out of here. Shields rear. Because that was not a good engagement. I got caught by, it looks like, one TIE fighter and probably a TIE interceptor. And I impacted twice, which is not really great for my hull. Yep, I'm getting chased by this TIE interceptor here. So I'm going to turn and engage, kill him, power to shields, balance him out, try to get out of that area before I can find another target. It looks like he's just impacted something as well. I'm going to try to get some cheeky shots in here, finish him off too. That looks like I'm being engaged by two TIE interceptors. This is not good, so I'm going to try to break contact here, duck behind a rock, and more or less just keep the rock in between us. Got him to take a little bit of damage from this, I think. So this fighter didn't seem
They're locking on.
He really does not like me. So I'm going to do power to shields again. I'm just going to keep using this rock to generate my shields. Maybe call for a little bit of help from the team. Yep, there's a second fighter here. So what I'm trying to do is isolate that fighter, knock him out. Looks like he's boosted away. If I had rockets, that would have been a good hit. But since I don't, just finish him off. On to the next target. Boost away. It looks like he's about to get finished off by a teammate, so I'm going to try to go and get some more rockets. Looks like he's trying. No, he wasn't going head on. So he's in a circle fight. What he should be doing is trying to boost out to the side, clear that target. This target's coming straight in, so I'm going to unload rockets into him. Pick another target. If you notice when I turn, I'm not doing a slow turn. I'm boosting and drifting constantly. The idea is to try to negate the disadvantage of a low top speed that my X-Wing currently has, with constantly boosting and constantly drifting. The idea is to close as much distance with the enemy as possible, and do as much distance as quickly as possible. Got another target to the front. My shields are still good, so I'm just going to engage him. You can actually fire those rockets just a little bit earlier than the 1 kilometer max range. So you could fire them at about 1100 maybe. A couple of hits there with the proximity fuse rocket. The reason being is by the time the rocket reaches the target, it will have only traveled 1,000 kilometers, or 1,000 meters. That's going to let you essentially kind of leave the target with the rocket. Some more damage to this guy. Usually I would be trying to boost a maneuver here, but we were close enough to winning, and I knew there was no one here, so I wasn't really in a hurry. Some more damage to him. Weapons. Up. Just 2 rocket hits. Finish him off with the rockets.
You're all clear.
Looks like we've got somebody targeting me, so I'm going to evade that head on. My team kind of do some damage to him. He's trying to escape, but unfortunately that is not going to work. There's too many of us here. That's another lesson there. Don't engage the enemy team solo. That's just a recipe for team death. Even if I didn't have a whole lot of team support, it was still one of me versus an unshielded TIE, and I still had newcomers in the area. So we target this player who was helping his team earlier. You notice how he's trying to circle fight, and I was able to get out to the side and do more damage. Right now, he should have immediately turned to engage me. Instead, it looks like he's trying to run for cover. Ah, yeah, that was it. That was it right there. He went for cover, and then used the cover to engage me. Was forced to head on. Fire the rockets. Boost. Drop in behind him. Just gonna finish him off. Fire a few more rockets just because. Now, I don't want to follow his turn exactly. He will outmaneuver me. So I want to keep up my speed. It sounds like I've got another TIE interceptor tailing me somewhere. And fortunately, that other TIE interceptor did not catch me because I accidentally left power to weapons instead of power to engines. But with dogfights, you want as much maneuverability and speed as possible, and boosting and drifting is what allows you to accomplish that. So you stay on your target and you make sure that target dies. If you get shot, you break off of that target and eliminate the guy shooting you. Then you can re-engage that target. So this concludes this video. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll answer them and pin them.